I grew up in South St. Paul. Probably grew up in a lower class um, where poverty and middle class don't quite meet, just a little below there. The thing was for me was at a younger age, not so much now, but then I really wasn't, you could say, mentally prepared for life, I guess. And what made me want to come back was I had friends, family, and outer support network that were edging me, hey, you should think about going back to school. I never thought about it. And then as time was progressing, after I had these jobs, I thought, man, this is not what I want to do for the rest of my life. So I thought, what the heck, I'm just going to try it and see what happens and take it one day at a time. And things have been working. Little by little things fall into place, the puzzle, It was close to home, one, and two, I liked how it was smaller versus like the huge university or the bigger college. That's more a little intimidating to me. And once I got to know some people and faculty, my instructors, I felt at ease, you could say almost at home. And I settled in quite easily. I started Inver Hills when my son was 3, my daughter was 2, and the saying is, you don't have a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. That's me. The everyday living paycheck to paycheck, once it was in my hand, it was out of my hand. And yeah, definitely I still do struggle, and there's a lot of you could say lifelines and support, within the community, and if one's willing to do the footwork, to do the research to find these networks, they're definitely out there. It's not a thing, rather the system per se or society doesn't necessarily, like I thought once before, they're out to get me, everybody just wants to hold me down, and people, they don't want to see the smaller guys succeed. Well, a while ago I did think that, and now, my thought is, if one really wants to succeed and just move up in life, in the world, whatever, definitely one's got to be willing to do that footwork and look for that, and strive for success, really. I'm in the process of starting a small startup limo service. I'm attending Inver Hills for contemporary business, and a lot of it is helping me out in the financial part, and also in how to start it and run it. That way it's something successful, versus I'm just gonna start it out of a basement, a garage, or what have you, and a year or a couple months or whatever, it's a failure. I'm really getting the tools here at school to start this endeavor and see it through so that it does succeed. A lot of it I wouldn't know if it wasn't for school, for Inver Hills, and I'm just taking it one day at a time, really. It's like, I'm not gonna start one day and just jump right into the huge sea or whatever. however you want to say it, and expect riches and glory and all the good stuff. And it's definitely, that's not going to happen. You know, I know that it's a process, and, you know, before you learn to run, you got to learn to crawl, you know, and that type of thing. So one day at a time. And I never thought that one day I would have been attending school, having this conversation with you, saying, hey, you know, I'm going to start this venture, and this is who I am now, versus 5-7 years ago I was sitting in Stillwater prison, you know. So it's definitely a turnaround, and something that I would just possibly thought it was not even a dream, just a thought, not even that. Structure that I've acquired within the community, rather it's the food pantry, rather it's financial aid, rather it's a small gesture from one of my instructors saying, Vic, you got this, you can do this. Really the support network, I would have to say, rather it's within the community. My Career Navigator at Goodwill Easter Seals, rather it's one of the counselors upstairs, or an instructor, or one of my fellow classmates saying, Vic, failure's not an option, we got this. It's helped a lot in the sense of it was a big push to start this path. A friend of mine by the name of Julia Miller had said, Vic, you should think about this. You know, it would really, it's beneficial. It's something that is possible. Don't think that you can't do it just because you're not there yet, or don't think you can't do it just because you haven't thought of it. You know, think of it as one day at a time. It's a process. It's a growing process, and you can take a lot from it at the end when you walk away from it. And I've been taking a lot from it now, and I'm probably 3/4 of the way there. I just recently had an encounter where I had to do community service, and I had fines from the past. Like I'm just like anyone else. I'm not perfect, and the past still comes back to get me in the rear. And I recently did 30 days, and this last semester, and I was scared to my wits' end that I was going to be in academic probation, and academic probation or suspension, as well with financial aid. Come to find out, my Career Navigator and one of the counselors, I forget her name, simply because of that urge and the push that I've gotten from I want to say my support network, Inver Hills, the Career Navigator, my friends. I did not expect my GPA to be at the level, and my completion rate to be where it was at. You know, I'm thinking it was going to be here. Come to find out, it was nice. And a lot of the times, I guess, in the streets, you know, in my past, I could do this, I could do that. I applied the same thing to school. And if I did that, why can't I do this now? And, you know, every day I've been clean 8 years, I believe now, March 26th of 07. And I say, if I could do that then, why can't I be clean and go to school now and keep pushing for this new venture and you know, my service, my business. And luckily it's I'm not, like I was saying earlier, it's not the glory yet. I'm not in yeah, I got this yet, you know. I'm not there. Will I don't know. But like I said, it's a day by day thing, and you know, I just keep pushing forward. You know, will I make it? I think I will. You know, I think I will.